We're back here on TV 18. Grab yourself another cup of coffee. We are talking about a pretty unique, interesting conversation, Extreme Narcissists, with Dr. JosephBurgo, who wrote this book. You pegged, I guess is the right word, Donald Trump as a narcissist. How did you come to that conclusion? Tell me, like, how you feel like you have the right to say that about him.
Well, I've been working with narcissism, thinking about it and writing about it for most of my career.
Okay.
That's almost 35 years
Right.
now. So I do know narcissism when I see it. So when I started writing this book and I was looking around for people to include in it, I was just, I started off just by taking celebrity names and putting narcissist in front of their name and seeing who else thought this.
Right.
And all of the people I picked, hundreds of thousands of hits. You know, Madonna, Lance Armstrong, Steve Jobs. So anyway, Trump is pretty widely recognized as a narcissist. So then I started reading biographies. Gwenda Blair has a couple of great biographies about the Trump family. And another biography by a man who used to work for Trump Enterprises. And just to see what it's like on the inside. And what I found is that he demonstrates these three qualities that I associate with extreme narcissism. That they can't handle criticism, and when they do, they respond in three ways. They become indignant, they become contemptuous, and they blame other people. So nothing, they're bulletproof. Nothing ever gets in. So if you look at Megyn Kelly and the first Republican debate and the way Trump responded to her when she challenged him, all three of them. He was indignant. He kind of lashed out on political correctness in America. He blamed her for like being unkind and going after him with unfair questions. And he was very contemptuous, very condescending. And then in the CNN interview later, he, you know, he dismissed her as basically a woman who was on the rag. You know. Really
Awesome. Win points there.
So these three qualities are what I recognize right away.
So no filter, he has, that kind of goes into the whole thing, with just saying what he wants and not taking any ownership on anything. And do you feel that narcissism is a 21st century kind of thing that's kind of come up more so?
I think it's always been there. But I do think we live in a culture that celebrates narcissism now. And rather than encouraging people to be humble and to understate, we encourage people to broadcast their success, post it on Facebook, take selfies, tweet about yourself. You know, we celebrate narcissism. There's a difference between that small end narcissism, I think, as opposed to the subject of my book, which is extreme narcissism.
Tell me, greed, popularity, fame all go into being a narcissist. Would you say so?
You know, I think so. I mean, people who have an inflated sense of self-importance look for a bigger stage on which to broadcast it. You know, they want to be in the public media. So there are politicians, and there are celebrities, and there are famous athletes in my book, because those are the arenas.
Is it something that you are born with? Like, are you always going to be like wired to kind of do that, or our society has allowed for that to happen?
I think that the people I'm talking about, extreme narcissists, are not born, they're made. And they usually come out of some kind of chaotic early background or a hyper-competitive, brutal, perfectionistic environment. That would be Trump's case.
And then how much do you think media has influenced on how extreme people are?
I think quite a bit. There's this book that came out 10 years ago called Fame Junkies. And you might have heard about it. They did this interview where they asked middle school students what would they rather be, the president of Harvard or the personal assistant to a celebrity. Everybody wanted to be an assistant to a celebrity. So what's the highest good in our society? To be a celebrity. We don't think it's the highest good to be the president of a major university.
Which it totally is. I mean, that would be a huge prestigious thing.
Not anymore.
That's sad. I feel like that's sad. So, this is such an interesting thing. How fast, I want to say, do you take to kind of be able to categorize someone? Like, we just met. like what characteristics come out, or what like things can you tell and you're like, oh, that person's an extreme, or they're not at all? Or
well, usually I'm not on. I don't have my therapist.
Okay,
on,
not on all the time.
I'm not trying to figure you out.
Okay.
But there are certain people who it's just overwhelmingly obvious.
Right, right. You're not on all the time? That's amazing.
No.
Teach me how to do that.
Well, sometimes you just can't help but notice things.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Cool. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more, kind of dive into other categories in your book, but we're going to take a quick break here on TV 18.